special. Absolute dynamite. Oh my goodness.
All we do is stare.
Andrew McCART, IFL TV in association with MTK Global. Again, we're still here in Phoenix. With me I've got Eddie Hearn. Well, I've done an interview with you at the press conference. We've just had the weigh-in today, but I want to just go back to yesterday. You held the press conference for Mikey Garcia, who you've signed for a one-fight deal. You've announced his opponent at Jesse Vargas, February 29th from Dallas.
Correct.
Just talk to me about that.
Great fight, yeah. I mean, I've been talking to Mikey Garcia for probably about a year and a half, and he's always had a fight-by-fight deal with PBC, and we nearly got him before the Errol Spence fight. They dangled that carrot. I couldn't get him, and now we've got him. One fight deal, but we also have an option to keep him beyond that if we want, which obviously we will be. And hopefully this is the first of many fights with Mikey. He's one of the biggest stars in America. I think it's a great fight with Jesse Vargas. Jesse was one of the first guys that signed with us. I wanted to deliver him a major fight. We've done that. And I think it's a really good fight. I think that, you know, two guys, one is a 2-weight world champion, one is a 4-weight world champion. One is established at welterweight, won a world title there. You know, boxed Tim Bradley, boxed Manny Pacquiao, beat Saddam Ali. And Mikey hasn't yet performed at 147 because he's only had one fight against Errol Spence. And you know, he's a 4-weight world champion. He wants to be a 5-weight world champion. And I think this fight will put the winner in a great position to go on and become a major force in the division. And it's something that we haven't really had, is a major player at 147 pounds, and now we do.
As in, you mean as in Matchroom?
Yeah, DAZN. I mean, DAZN, Matchroom, same thing. So it was a big signing for us because the stable that we've brought together has been incredible. But there has been a few people say, what megastars have you got? Mikey's a megastar. I know people say, yeah, he's coming off a loss, but listen, like, we've seen the gate receipts, we've seen the pay-per-view buys, we've seen even the interest since we announced the fight in Dallas yesterday. Jerry Jones, Dallas Cowboys coming on, battling for that fight, winning that fight, and it's a big fight, and it's a great fight as well. I think style-wise, Jesse was saying to me about Barrera against Morales, and sometimes you drop that in and people go, "Wow, shut up!" But the truth is, that can only be a great fight. Jesse Vargas is always in brilliant fights, and so is Mikey Garcia, and I think they're gonna go to war on that one.
I saw somewhere as well. Twitter's a wonderful place. I saw someone on Twitter that the winner, Mikey Garcia. I think you mentioned Mikey Garcia against Pacquiao.
Yeah, it's the fight. I mean, I think the winner of Jesse's boxed Manny Pacquiao, but still think the winner of that fight is in a great position to have a mega fight in the division. If Jesse wins, there's some huge fights out there for him. I think if Mikey wins, the focus would be for him to fight Manny Pacquiao.
In Saudi?
I think so, yeah. I mean, we're going to be putting together a couple of cards, one for the spring in Saudi and one for probably the back end of the year. Manny's definitely a name they're interested in bringing over there, so we'll work on that and see what happens.
Fingers crossed I get to go out to Saudi for once.
Yes.
Fingers crossed. I want to touch on as well, Jamal Charlo as well, Twitter, wonderful place. Did you offer him the same sort of deal you offered Mikey?
Yeah, very similar. I mean, I think that, our primary job is to deliver a great schedule for DAZN subscribers. Our other job is to build a fantastic stable of fighters. I feel like we've done both, but to keep the great schedule coming, I'm not hell-bent on tying fighters in and locking them into 5-year deals and stuff like that. I think we're a great place for them to be, and I think we give them security long-term. But if they do want to just take one fight, if they're stuck in a rut or they can't land the big fights and they can get it on another platform, you saw Jose Ramirez come over, box Maurice Hooker. Why shouldn't Charlo come on, make a huge career high payday and unify against Demetrius Andre? Demetrius Andre needs a dance partner. Charlo needs a dance partner. If Charlo was to beat Andrade, he could fight Canelo for, 8 figures plus. So he hasn't replied yet, but we hope he does. I only sent it a few days ago, so I'm hoping to get the reply and hoping that he can come and jump on board. And if he beats Demetrius, he can toodle back to Fox or PBC with a couple of belts. So I think that fighters need to have this flexibility. I see Terence Crawford today. Like, they're fucked with Terence Crawford, like really fucked. And I don't know what they're going to do. Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, look, I just don't know what they're going to do because they've got no option. If Al wants, he can just lock up all his guys so he can't fight them, and then Terence don't have any legacy, and he ends up, I don't know, moving to 154 and fighting Teixeira for the WBO. Like, you know, he's in the prime of his career now. That's when you've got to strike, and that's the same for Demetrius. You know, we've got to deliver those big fights for Demetrius Andrade because he's in his prime and he's good enough to beat a lot of these guys. But for me, Charlo Andrade is just a fight that I really want to see, and I think it's a good fight for DAZN subscribers.
I agree. Devin Haney, I mean, he's come off a shoulder injury. I was meant to ask you this yesterday, but obviously the media was beaming down my neck. He's champion in recess, so
it's a mad one, really. So obviously Lomachenko got made franchise champion. Devin Haney as interim champ, made full WBC champion. He got injured in his last fight, popped out his shoulder. He's had to have an operation on that. He's out till June, and the WBC decided to make him champion in recess, and then they've ordered Campbell against Fortuna for the WBC world title, the winner of which has to fight Devin Haney when he's back. So, you know, I think Luke probably felt a little bit hard done by it in the fact that he got Linares rather than could have got the Devin Haney spot previously, but now it's come full circle, and he's probably a little bit fortunate now where he gets to fight Fortuna for the WBC world title. So there's about another 2 weeks to go on that negotiations, and if not, we'll get a purse bid on January the 3rd. But the next fight for Luke Campbell will be Javier Fortuna for the WBC world title.
London?
Possibly, or even on the Mikey Garcia card in Dallas. I mean, it'll be a nice spot for him as well. So that's the plan, and then when Devin comes back in June, he'll fight the winner.
Definitely. Well, again, go back to yesterday. We've done an interview with Rido Rahim, and I think you mentioned he asked a perfect question when he asked you about the winner of Fury and Wilder. You'll do a deal with the winner to do a 50-50 split down.
I didn't say that. What I said was, he said, do you think you can make those fights happen? And I said, we've offered both of those guys 60-40 splits. At the time we offered them, that was the fucking greatest deal. I couldn't even believe that I got that deal approved by AJ and the team, because at the time Fury weren't really doing much, he weren't really making a lot of money. Wilder was making no money. Commercially they weren't a draw at all. And AJ was just a complete king. Since then he's lost, but he came back with a massive win. But Fury and Wilder have both risen their profile considerably, and because of DAZN, ESPN raised the bar, gave Fury a big payday. Because of DAZN, Heyman had to step up and start paying Wilder crazy money, right? So now they're earning big money, and now their profile is higher, and the winner of that fight will be in a really good position. So what I said is that to get those fights, AJ will have to give those people 50-50, probably. Will he do it? Maybe he might not want to do that, but I believe that the winner of Wilder Fury will probably be in a position where commercially they're on a similar, path, and then in that case 50-50 is probably a deal that will get over the line. It's difficult for me to say they don't deserve 50-50 because the fans can't stand that. I can just tell you the facts from a numbers perspective in terms of what they're earning, right, and the draws of these people. But if you don't give them what they want, you can't get the fight. So it doesn't matter whether you think it's worth 50-50 or not. You can't get what you want without giving it. And last time there was a lot of stubborn, but I believe last time the 60-40 offers at that time was amazing for both guys. But now they're not going to take 60-40. They didn't take it before. So AJ will have the decision if he wants to pay them or wants to do a deal at 50-50. And what I said in Raheem's interview is probably that is going to be the split that gets this fight made.
Kind of get that vibe, excuse me, with Joshua nowadays, is that he's wanting these Wilder or Fury fights so bad that he'd probably go, you know what, 50-50.
Yeah, I think
push
he
for 60-40 your side.
No, well, don't be silly. Don't be fucking silly. That would be mental. But I do think that he would probably get to a stage where he'd go, all right, look, fuck it, we'll just do 50-50. We'll do it because I want the fight. And he's made so much money. And he's not money driven. Now he's got the legacy of becoming a two-time heavyweight world champion. He's got the legacy of winning a rematch for the world heavyweight title, which very few fighters have done, and amazing fighters. So he's starting to build that in his career now, and the other legacy that he wants is an undisputed championship. The main issue is that it doesn't seem like the WBO or the IBF will want to actually give us a definitive answer as to who's next. They both just say, we're next. It's a fucking total headache, and it's doing my nutting because It's just the politics of boxing. All we want to try and do, and I said this before, there's not many opportunities to get an undisputed champion. So we've got to take him when it's there. That's why I was so frustrated last time, because I knew this would happen. I didn't know that he'd lose to Ruiz, lose to Ruiz, beat Ruiz, but I knew that the mandatories would come in and it would slow everything down. So we've written to the WBO and the IBF, and it's like, no, we're next. It's like, guys, who's fucking next? Well, we are. No, we are. So, but what are you going to do? You're just going to fragment the belts with a lack of common sense. There has to be some kind of rotation system that tells you who is next. You've got to encourage people to unify, to become undisputed. That has to be the holy grail. And I feel like it's really frustrating. It's just one of the many problems in boxing where, like, particularly in that case, like if they say to you, your next 2 fights have got to be mandatory, okay. But don't say, no, these are your next 2 fights, and if you don't like it, you've got to drop a belt. Do you know what I mean? So that's the frustrating thing. And at the moment, we may have to drop a belt. So we will go out, we will negotiate with both fighters, we will see. Look, we don't know at the moment. Someone wants to, who really wants it. Someone might price themselves out, we can't get a deal done, and then we know which way we're going. But at the moment, we're going to speak to Usyk, we're going to speak to Pulev, we're going to see what the deals are to be done with those guys, and we're going to wait with it, push with the IBF and WBO to try and, not cop out and say, but to get together and say, look, guys, this.
Has Usyk not come out and said that he would prefer one more fight at heavyweight before?
No, I think he'd like to fight Joshua. I think you never know in this game and in life what's going to happen. So a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. So maybe Usyk's thinking, look, he definitely needs another fight at heavyweight. But he's also thinking, but if I don't get the Joshua fight now, maybe I'll never get it. So he's balancing that up. So I don't know. It's going to be a lot of hard work over the next couple of weeks to try and keep everybody happy.
You don't shy away from hard work,
no, but AJ is not afraid to lose a belt, but the whole idea is to try and win them and defend them, and that's what he wants to do.
I know you're pushed for time, Eddie, you've got a podcast to do, but I want to touch on something that's made me happy. Kash Farooq.
Oh yeah, right.
Very happy signing with yourself. I mean, talk to you about Kash and the deal.
I watched the fight with Lee McGregor. I mean, I guess it was a controversial decision. It's just nice that it wasn't on one of my shows for a change. They do happen on other people's shows.
They do,
but it was a close fight. Like, I had him winning the fight, but I thought Lee McGregor boxed really well, and I rate Lee McGregor very highly. He just really impressed me. And it's all very well, and it's really good to sign GB stars, podium stars, Olympic stars, but I kind of like the diamond in the rough as well. And when I watched him, I thought, you can really fight. And I feel that coming off the loss, it's like a little project for me. So you came off the loss, probably a lot of people would have just kicked you to the curb and gone, you ain't even got a belt anymore, you're a fighter with Pakistan heritage, you're from Scotland, and you got a bad decision, see you later, mate. And I sort of looked at it and thought, I like this kid. I'd quite like to have a challenge with it. And I spoke to Ian Wilson, and he probably didn't expect my call. And then I said, look, I'd like to sign Kash Farooq. I really think he can fight. And then I brought him to the office, and he, again, I find it fascinating. As you get older, it's really interesting to find out where people have come from and their backgrounds, and especially people whose families have come to England or Scotland. When you find out about, I started talking to him about that and the fact that, he came over to the UK. I think he lived in Croydon or something first of all. Then he moved up to Scotland. I'm like, how do you end up coming from Pakistan to Croydon and then Croydon to Glasgow? And I just find it fascinating how people make their way in life. Like, it's not just like you're born in East London and your family are from East London, your granddad's from East London, and everybody's lived there. Like, people have fascinating stories. And I think sometimes when you've been through that kind of lifestyle, it can mould your character and it can make you very strong. And I got that impression from him. His accent cracked me up. He don't look like he should talk like that, and it's like you say, half sort of Pakistan, half Glaswegian. And I said to him, I got him in front of the cameras and I said, tell your story. People have to resonate with you. People have to know about your story. And he's very bright. He's got a great boxing IQ, speaks really well. I like his work ethic. I like what he says. I believe, not even knowing, I believe he's super dedicated.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and I think he can really fight. So he's going to box again in March or April, and then he's going to go out and, you know, hopefully we get the Lee McGregor fight, the rematch. I've already spoke to MTK about that. That's a fight that can fill the Hydro.
Yeah.
You know, it really can. I mean, I think they had a couple of thousand, 2,000 or 3,000.
Sold out the whole
exactly,
show, like 1,500
yeah.
people that were in that.
Exactly.
Back then, there were still people who wanted to go to the fight.
And now the first fight was brilliant. Lee McGregor, I believe, will fight for a European title. So you're going to be in a position where it's going to be British, Commonwealth, and European championships, and it's a big fight. And two great fighters, great first fight, a little bit of controversy. Do the rematch.
Eddie Hearn back in Scotland,
I'd love to be. We would love to be. You know, and that's, you know, Ricky Burns needs another fight. We've got John Doherty coming through, who's going to be fighting for titles. Loads of MTK fighters up in Scotland as well. Yeah, any excuse to go up to Scotland. But it was just one that I watched it and I sort of turned the TV off that night and thought, I don't know, I was thinking about him a little bit and I thought, I really like this kid. There's something about him, I don't know what it is, but he can really fight. So I want to see, it's, like I said, it's not easy taking an Olympian and taking him to world honours, but taking a kid that's just lost his British title and try and take him to world honours, that gives me a little bit of a tingling in the bollocks. There you go.
There you go, no context. There you go.
So it's a bit of a challenge. Yep. And I like him, and I like Ian Wilson, and yeah, I'm excited.
I know you said one quick, but Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is what classes, just quickly on the missed weight.
I mean, you can't really. It's hard to say expected, but expected. You know, I mean, when we made this fight, I said to Julio, I believe you should be boxing at 175. No, I can make 168, 168. And when I made the fight with Danny Jacobs, we as a team, Team Jacobs, we always felt that he probably wouldn't make 168. Yeah. He's trained his bollocks off for this fight. He really has. And if he was lazy, if he hadn't trained, if he just ate shit, then I would think he's just a waste of space. But I know he's genuinely tried as hard as he can to make the weight. I think the stuff with the commission kind of helped. Like, there must have been times where he thought, fuck it, or is this fight even going to happen? Yeah. He's not my fighter, so I don't feel like I have to justify what he's done. But
fight goes on.
Yeah, I'm alright. It doesn't change anything about Friday night. Doesn't give anyone an edge. Might give Julio a slight edge because it's going to be heavier than Danny Jacobs. But there's no world title on the line, so it's not, oh, now there's no title on the line. It's just a fight between a guy who is one of the biggest names in Mexican boxing and another guy who's a huge name in American boxing, with former two-time middleweight world champion, former middleweight world champion Chavez. We've sold over 10,000 tickets. It's going to be fucking absolutely mental in there. I know. He's a massive draw. And he is a little bit crazy, to be honest. But I like him because I feel a bit sorry for him, because I think he's grown up in a world. I mean, you imagine his life growing up as the son of Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., who was like a god in Mexico, Sinaloa, or wherever they're from. Yeah, but that's a lower level. But I see something like, I know what it was like for me, sometimes living in my old man shadows, and he was like a millionth in terms of fame and power of Chavez Sr. Yeah. So I just think that everyone wants to see him fail. And I've seen it today. People just phoning me up, journalists. Oh, no, it's a joke, Chavez. I said, but will we expect that or not now? Yeah. Exactly. Oh, well, does that make it right? No, it don't. But just saying, like, and what he has to do tomorrow is show heart. If he can go in there and put a great performance on, where he shows a lot of bottle and heart, even if he don't win, he can get the respect of the fans and the love of the fans. Yeah. If 10,000 people are coming to watch Chavez at the lowest of the low, let's be honest, like right now, you know, he had a bad performance against Canelo, but it was Canelo. You know, he's had his issues outside of the ring, he's missed the weight again today. Probably right now these people are thinking he's a joke. But it's probably the biggest crowd we've had in America outside of AJ. he sold twice as many tickets as Terence Crawford. Last week it was a pound for pound top star.
Exactly, yeah.
So if he can put the performance in that makes the Mexican people go, fucking fair play to you, you know, then I think that's what that could be his redemption. If he wins, fuck me, he's absolutely cracked it. But the redemption could just come from a solid perforance.
Well, your phone's buzzing,
Yeah.
Eddie, so I'll let you go.
All right,
Thank you,
mate.
Spectral TV.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you so much, Eddie.
Hey, mate.
It is special. Absolute dynamite. Oh my goodness.
All we do is stare.